Right, welcome. It looks like somebody was late. Must be me, but welcome. This is the economic report, and this is Brian here. And hold on, wait for it. Oh, yes, I do have my AirPods in. I'm sorry, my Beats in. And with that, we are live here. And so it's great to see you and see everyone that will be filing in today. Man, I'll tell you what a really important conversation we're having. And it deals specifically with college, career, trades, and of course, the path moving forward. And there's some really interesting stories here to pay close attention to. And with that, a little sip of the coffee, and maybe a deeper dive. Of course, we know during the Trump administration, there is a big push to bring back manufacturing jobs, and it's just not manufacturing. There's a lot of other stuff going on. Of course, with AI, there's going to be a huge demand for electricity sources. And on top of that, there's going to be a need for data centers. And with that, there's going to be a need for people who build these things, have the skills to go out and make things happen. And of course, that really does mean that you have two different explosions of workforces. Group one is the people who build these things, and we're talking about different energy efficiencies that will be out there. And secondly, and equally as important, we're talking about a whole nother group, which is the people who actually build these structures, right? So it's super cool stuff. And some of the predictions, at least some of the preliminary things that we see, they deal specifically with a number of electricians and the construction industry that will be out here making these things happen. They said there is a huge demand for electricians right now, for instance. And of course, if you're liking that idea, give me a thumbs up. And maybe you won't be here in the live watching this, but of course, in the replay, I get a ton of people coming back for the replay to check this out as well. So make sure that you're joining and you're going ahead and hitting the like and subscribe button, because once again, we are at 210 right now, and the goal is that we're going to go ahead and hit 250 here, maybe as early as by the end of the week. You might be able to help me out. Hey, welcome. I do respond to every single comment in the chat. Well, at least ones that are appropriate. Inappropriate, probably not, but I'm glad you are here joining me here at the Economic Report, where we are talking about jobs today. We're talking about, hey, what's the next step people are taking? And once again, if you're in the position to go ahead and give people, like younger people, advice, what would that advice be? Would you be asking them to maybe reconsider some of the career options that are out there, right? So many things have changed in probably about the last 30 years, from the internet, of course, opening up, and maybe a lot of ways leveling down what jobs looked like back then. Of course, hey, Williams, how are you today? Welcome. Oh, Grace, and a welcome. I'm glad you're here today. Thank you very much for joining us. We're talking about college, career, trades, and of course, what the future may hold. And I think it's a super important place for us to be. I'll like, a subscribe, and of course, dropping a comment and chat. I will respond to those. And of course, with that, we just opened up a couple thoughts here. And one of them is President Trump obviously saying that there's going to be a huge demand for manufacturing inside the United States. And all right, thank you. Thank you for. I do appreciate it. I do feel a little bit cool, but maybe a little bit warmer with a cup of coffee, right? So with that, just maybe an understanding that the future really does hold some amazing opportunities. Now, of course, people in school, and we're talking about maybe the K-12 education system, really needs to connect with not just what's going on inside of the classroom, but of course, we want to make sure that we're really connecting of what's going on in the future and what's the best way for maybe adults in the business world to partner with K-12 education and make sure there's a huge awareness of what's out there. And with that, if you don't make that connection, then you're kind of underserving your students, because I do believe education is a powerful thing just to help you think and learn and become a better human being, but also education really in many ways is a means to an end, right? So what are we doing to help connect students to the future? And maybe schools, maybe you serve as a mentor, maybe just maybe not only are you serving as a mentor, there's another part here, which means you can actually be part of the process. But what advice would you give young people right now in 2025? Would you say keep going to college, only go to the right college, only go to the right college and get the right degree, and make sure that college has a great internship and apprenticeship program so you come out and you are ready to work, right? Because there are a number of colleges that are under fire right now, particularly little colleges that really don't have the leverage to compete inside this world. So, hey, welcome aboard here, folks. I'm live here. And once again, I respond to all comments, well, almost all comments in chat. So go ahead and drop a comment here. What I should have done is gone ahead and left the link to the video we did today that's live on my channel as well, which is called the Economic Report. And today we're talking college and trade and jobs of the future. And if you have a comment here that is going to be helpful in this conversation, drop it in there. And of course, I respond to highs and hellos as well. Make sure you hit like and subscribe as well, because once again, that will help this channel out. YouTube just loves it when you tag the algorithm. That means that you're engaged. And so I appreciate that. And the little things you do really do help a ton. And with that, we can continue on with this conversation, because check it out. Of course, there is a huge demand out there for people who know how to use like simple tools like hammers, screwdrivers, saws. During the last presidential administration, and today's video gets into this a little bit, during Bush 43, there was a huge push with a program called No Child Left Behind. If you remember that, go ahead and hit like or drop a comment in there, because let's face it, folks, this affected the educational policy of the United States. And I think they were well intended. And of course, the good intention was that everybody is going to learn to read better, which is kind of what school's about, write better, which is school's all about, and of course, understand and maybe prepare themselves for the jobs of the future. And what happened in the process is, well, people spent so much time on No Child Left Behind, they kind of neglected the important things too, which is the creative elements of people, right? And developing those school skills inside of school. We're talking about wood shop, metal shop, even home ec to a degree, because there's the creative element. And those are real, not only just life skills classes, but they're also helping develop a different part of the student's brain. And of course, with developing the brain, there's another part, which is practical application, right? Because you do use things like measurements and other skill sets inside of those vocations. So there's a wonderful opportunity to really expand here, because I do think there's a generation of Americans, like seriously, like they don't even own a toolbox. It's kind of scary. No hammer, no screwdriver, no practical application on using a crescent wrench. And those are things that are very real. And as we pivot to manufacturing, or bringing manufacturing back into the United States, this really is a super important thing to explore a little bit. And of course, with that comes great opportunity, because once again, there is the well-worn path of go to high school, go to college, get a job because you've had good internships. Now you see a lot of strain on particularly small colleges throughout the United States, because more people are starting to hit the brakes just a little bit more, thinking about, hey, is it really worth it financially to make that investment in college and come out of there, with many people are, with debt? And maybe there's a faster, more efficient way to go ahead and get acclimated into making money immediately without going into debt. Maybe the opportunity to start a small business too. And if you think about it, there's people I've spoken with in the past that say, hey, we're taking a look here, and we're saying this is really a great opportunity. Not just am I going to go ahead and learn how to cut hair. I'm going to go ahead and start my own business, my own salon. That's kind of a cool thought there, right? Somebody else, I'm going to be an electrician, but my overall goal is to own a company. Kind of cool stuff. Hey, I'm gonna construct things. Maria, good morning to you. Glad to see you. Glad that you've liked this. Glad that you're subscribing. Thanks you for being here. We're talking all kinds of crazy stuff here about college to career to trades and maybe other opportunities that are out there. And of course, if you're part of this conversation, we'd love to hear some additional insights that you may have here, because it's kind of a daunting world, but also a world that is loaded with all kinds of amazing opportunities out there. What the future holds and how you're going to make your contribution with whatever the good Lord puts you on the planet to do, because everybody has something valuable to offer. Hmm. All right. Well, the coffee's getting a little bit cool, but that's okay. That's part of the equation here. And darn it, what I probably should have done is pinned my video here, because I do have a channel. The channel is called The Economic Report. And of course, in that channel today, what we're taking a look at is, hey, what does the future hold? Hey, if you're a career changer, one. Number two, you're an adult. Number two, or you're maybe even a grandparent who has kind of a range of knowledge and experience you can share with younger people. What's the thought you give them right now? Is it the thought that, hey, we're going to go ahead and finance our education and understand that there will be jobs out there for you? Or is it, hey, join the workforce in some capacity? And I do share a couple of stories here that I think are super interesting. In today's video, we talk about two people that I used to coach. And these guys are super interesting because they're both self-starters. Both of them went to a local career center. Both of them went into the vocational school. And from the vocational school, they learned a lot of hands-on skill sets. And they both had visions of where they wanted to be. Those are important things to take into consideration. And one of them went on to start his own company. And right now, the company is making like $30 million a year. And that's no joke. And he said, hey, I went to college for a semester and I realized that those people in college, they weren't teaching me how to work for myself. They were teaching me how to work for somebody else. He had a completely different angle. The other one's wildly successful, very much similar. One's kind of like a solopreneur, and the other, I would say, is the fellow who is the person who started his own business after a number of things. Not that everything worked out perfectly, plenty of trial and errors along the way, but you get the idea that these guys didn't follow a path per se. They kind of created their own. Now, for the vast majority of us, you live in the most prosperous country on the planet, in the United States. Or if you're anywhere in the Anglosphere, you should be in pretty good shape. But the fact is, there is going to be a lot of opportunities coming up here in the not too distant future. And maybe in many cases, the opportunities exist right now. Working for a company making drones, doing the electricity for data centers, building data centers, all of those things require some people with some very, very important skill sets on how to build and how to construct things. And so some of those will be beyond what we're currently seeing in the economy. And some of those are going to be like the jobs of the future, which is pretty wild stuff. And with that, I want to thank you for being here. It's been a wonderful session here, and I love talking about these things. I love engaging with the audience. And of course, if you drop a comment here, I've got a few people that have already just said hello, which is wonderful. If you have a question about today's video, once again, I do have a video right there on the Economic Report that comes to people who have subscribed. And once you subscribe to the Economic Report, well, a lot of other things are going to open up for you as well. And with that, hey, thank you for joining me. And folks, remember, the biggest battle we fight is the one between our ears, over our thoughts, our actions, and our attitude. Stay healthy. And that is the biggest asset you have right now, is your health. I'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. And we may do a follow-up session here live in the next 15 minutes. I'll let you know here. Thank you very much, and stay on the lookout for the next live. Take care.